Okay, Bismillah, we're live. When you're
In the
ready.
name of Allah, may peace and salutations and blessings be upon the Prophet Muhammad and upon his family and companions. To proceed, we warmly welcome you for another night of Quranic recitation in the holy month of Ramadan, and will be followed by an Islamic lecture from one of our scholars. We ask Allah the Most High to open up and facilitate the recitation for our reciter, Sheikh Ahmed. And Sheikh Ahmed will be beginning from Surah Yunus, verse number 12. فليتفضلوا شيخ أحمد مشكورا.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وإذا مس الإنسان الضر دعانا لجنبه أو قاعدا أو قائما فلما كشفنا عنه ضره مر كأن لم يدعنا إلى ضر مسه كذلك زين للمسرفين ما كانوا يعملون.
I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. And when harm touches man, he invokes us, lying on his side or sitting or standing. But when we have removed this harm from him, he passes on as if he had never invoked us, as if he had never invoked us for harm that touched him. Thus it is made fair seeming to those who go to excesses that which they used to do.
ولقد أهلكنا القرون من قبلكم لما ظلموا وجاءتهم رسلهم بالبينات وما كانوا ليؤمنوا كذلك نجزي القوم المجرمين.
And indeed, we destroyed generations before you when they did wrong, while their messengers came to them with clear proofs. But they were not such as to believe. Thus do we requite the people who are disbelievers, polytheists and criminals.
ثم جعلناكم خلائف الأرض من بعدهم لننظر كيف تعملون.
Then we made you successors after them, generations after generations in the land, that we might see how you would work.
وإذا تتلى عليهم آياتنا بينات قال الذين لا يرجون لقاء نأت بقرآن غير هذا أو بدله قل ما يكون لي أن أبدله من تلقاء نفسي إن أتبع إلا ما يوحى إلي إني أخاف إن عصيت ربي عذاب يوم عظيم.
And when our clear verses are recited to them, those who hope not for their meeting with us say, bring us a Qur'an other than this, or change it. Say, O Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, it is not for me to change it on my own accord. I only follow that which is revealed to me. Verily, I fear the torment of a great day if I were to disobey my Lord.
قل لو شاء الله ما تلوته عليكم ولا أدراكم به فقد لبثت فيكم عمرا من قبله أفلا تعقلون.
Say, O Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, if Allah had so willed, I should not have recited it to you, nor would he have made it known to you. Verily, I have stayed amongst you a lifetime before this. Have you then no sense?
فمن أظلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا أو كذب بآياته إنه لا يفلح المجرمون.
So who does more wrong than he who forges a lie against Allah or denies his verses and evidences? Surely the criminals, sinners and disbelievers will never be successful.
ويعبدون من دون الله ما لا يضرهم ولا ينفعهم ويقولون هؤلاء شفعاؤنا عند الله قل أتنبئون الله بما لا يعلم في السماوات ولا في الأرض سبحانه وتعالى عما يشركون.
And they worship besides Allah things that harm them not, nor profit them. And they say, these are our intercessors with Allah. Say, do you inform Allah of that which he knows not in the heavens and upon the earth? Glorified and exalted is he above all that they associate partners with him.
وما كان الناس إلا أمة واحدة وما كان الناس إلا أمة واحدة فاختلفوا ولولا كلمة سبقت من ربك لقضي بينهم فيما فيه يختلفون.
Mankind were but one community, and had it not been for a word that we sent forth before them from your Lord, it would have been settled between them regarding that which they differed.
ويقولون لولا أنزل عليه آية من ربه فقل إنما الغيب لله فانتظروا إني معكم من المنتظرين.
And they say, how is it that not a sign is sent down on him from his Lord? Say, the unseen belongs to Allah alone. So wait you. Verily, I am with you among those who wait for his judgment.
وإذا أذقنا الناس رحمة من بعد ضراء مستهم إذا لهم مكر في آياتنا قل الله أسرع مكرا إن رسلنا يكتبون ما تمكرون.
And when we let mankind taste mercy, after some adversity had afflicted them, behold, they take to plotting against our verses and signs. Say, Allah is swifter in planning. Certainly our messengers, the angels, record all of that which you plot.
هو الذي يسيركم في البر والبحر حتى إذا كنتم في الفلك وجرين بهم بريح طيبة وفرحوا بها جاءتها ريح عاصف وجاءهم الموج من كل مكان وظنوا أنهم أحيط بهم دعوا الله مخلصين له الدين لئن أنجيتنا من هذه لنكونن من الشاكرين.
And he it is who enables you to travel through land and sea, until when you are in the ships, and they sail with them with a favorable wind, and they are glad where they're in. Then comes a stormy wind, and the waves come to them from all sides, and they think that they are encircled therein. Then they invoke Allah, making their faith pure for Him alone, saying, "If you, Allah, deliver us from this, we shall truly be of the grateful."
فلما أنجاهم إذا هم يبغون في الأرض بغير الحق يا أيها الناس إنما بغيكم على أنفسكم متاع الحياة الدنيا ثم إلينا مرجعكم فننبئكم بما كنتم تعملون.
But when He delivers them, behold, they rebel and disobey Allah in the earth wrongfully. O mankind, your rebellion against Allah is only against your own selves. A brief enjoyment of this worldly life, then in the end, to us is your return, and we shall inform you of that which you used to do.
إنما مثل الحياة الدنيا كماء أنزلناه من السماء فاختلط به نبات الأرض مما يأكل الناس والأنعام حتى إذا أخذت الأرض زخرفها وزينت وظن أهلها أنهم قادرون عليها أتاها أمرنا ليلا أو نهارا فجعلناها حصيدا كأن لم تغن بالأمس كذلك نفصل الآيات لقوم يتفكرون.
Verily, the likeness of this worldly life is as the water which we send down from the sky. So, by it arises the intermingled produce of the earth, of which men and cattle eat, until when the earth is clad in its adornments and is beautified, and its people think that they have all the powers of disposal over it. Our command reaches it by night or by day, and we make it like a clean mown harvest, as if it had not flourished yesterday. Thus do we explain the verses and evidences in detail for a people who reflect.
والله يدعو إلى دار السلام ويهدي من يشاء إلى صراط مستقيم.
Allah calls to the home of peace, the paradise, and guides whom He wills to a straight path.
للذين أحسنوا الحسنى وزيادة ولا يرهق وجوههم قتر ولا ذلة أولئك أصحاب الجنة هم فيها خالدون.
For those who have done good is the best reward in paradise, and even more. Neither darkness nor dust, nor any humiliating disgrace shall cover their faces. They are the dwellers of paradise. They will abide therein forever.
والذين كسبوا السيئات جزاء سيئة بمثلها وترهقهم ذلة ما لهم من الله من عاصم كأنما أغشيت وجوههم قطعا من الليل مظلما أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون.
And those who have earned evil deeds, the recompense of an evil deed is the like thereof, and humiliating disgrace will cover their faces. No defender they will have from Allah. Their faces will be covered, as it were, with pieces from the darkness of night. They are the dwellers of the fire. They will abide therein forever.
ويوم نحشرهم جميعا ثم نقول للذين أشركوا مكانكم أنتم وشركاؤكم فزيلنا بينهم وقال شركاؤهم ما كنتم إيانا تعبدون.
And the day whereon we shall gather them all together, then we shall say to those who did set partners in worship with us, stop at your place, you and your partners whom you had worshipped in the worldly life. Then we shall separate them, and Allah's so-called partners will say, it was not us that you used to worship.
فكفى بالله شهيدا بيننا وبينكم إن كنا عن عبادتكم لغافلين.
So sufficient is Allah as a witness between us and you, that we indeed knew nothing of your worship of us.
هنالك تبلو كل نفس ما أسلفت وردوا إلى الله مولاهم الحق وضل عنهم ما كانوا يفترون.
There, every person will know exactly what they have earned before, and they will be brought back to Allah, their rightful Lord, and their invented false deities will vanish from them.
قل من يرزقكم من السماء والأرض أم من يملك السمع والأبصار ومن يخرج الحي من الميت ويخرج الميت من الحي ومن يدبر الأمر فسيقولون الله فقل أفلا تتقون.
Say, O Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, who provides for you from the sky and the earth, or who owns hearing and sight, and who brings out the living from the dead and brings out the dead from the living, and who disposes the affairs. They will say, Allah. Say, will you not then be afraid of Allah's punishment for setting up rivals in worship with him?
فذلكم الله ربكم الحق فماذا بعد الحق إلا الضلال فأنا تصرفون.
Such is Allah, your Lord in truth. So after the truth, what else can there be save error? How then are you turned away?
كذلك حقا وحقت كلمة ربك على الذين فسقوا أنهم لا يؤمنون.
Thus is the word of your Lord justified against those who rebel and disobey Allah, that they will not believe in the oneness of Allah and His Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him.
قل هل من شركائكم من يبدأ الخلق ثم يعيده قل الله يبدأ الخلق ثم يعيده فأنى تؤفكون.
Say, is there of your partners one that originates the creation and then repeats it? Say, Allah originates the creation and then He repeats it. Then how are you deluded away from the truth?
قل هل من شركائكم من يهدي إلى الحق قل الله يهدي للحق أفمن يهدي إلى الحق أحق أن يتبع أمن لا يهدي إلا أن يهدى فما لكم كيف تحكمون.
Say, is there of your partners one that guides to the truth? Say, it is Allah who guides to the truth. Is then he who guides to the truth more worthy to be followed, or he who finds not guidance himself unless he is guided? Then what is the matter with you? How do you judge?
وما يتبع أكثرهم إلا ظنا إن الظن لا يغني من الحق شيئا إن الله عليم بما يفعلون.
And most of them follow nothing but conjecture. Certainly conjecture can be of no avail against the truth. Surely Allah is all knower of what they do.
وما كان هذا القرآن أن يفترى من دون الله ولكن تصديق الذي بين يديه وتفصيل الكتاب لا ريب فيه من رب العالمين.
And this Qur'an is not such as could ever be produced by any other than Allah, Lord of the heavens and the earth, but it is a confirmation of the revelation which was before it, and a full explanation of the book, the laws decreed for mankind, wherein there is no doubt from the Lord of all that exists.
أم يقولون افتراه قل فأتوا بسورة مثله وادعوا من استطعتم من دون الله إن كنتم صادقين.
Or do they say, he, Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, he has forged it? Say, bring then a chapter like it, and call upon whomsoever you can besides Allah, if you are truthful.
بل كذبوا بما لم يحيطوا بعلمه ولما يأتهم تأويله كذلك كذب الذين من قبلهم فانظر كيف كان عاقبة الظالمين.
Nay, they have denied the knowledge whereof they could not comprehend, and what has not yet been fulfilled. Thus, those before them did deny. Then see what was the end of the polytheists and
ومنهم من يؤمن به ومنهم من لا يؤمن به وربك أعلم بالمفسدين.
And of them there are some who believe therein, and of them there are some who believe not therein, and your Lord is best knower of the evildoers and liars.
وإن كذبوك فقل لي عملي ولكم عملكم أنتم بريئون مما أعمل وأنا بريء مما تعملون.
And if they deny you, say, for me are my deeds, and for you are your deeds. You are innocent of what I do, and I am innocent of what you do.
ومنهم من يستمعون إليك أفأنت تسمع الصم ولو كانوا لا يعقلون.
And among them are some who listen to you, but can you make the deaf to hear, although they comprehend not?
ومنهم من ينظر إليك أفأنت تهدي العمي ولو كانوا لا يبصرون.
And among them are some who look at you, but can you guide the blind, even though they see not?
إن الله لا يظلم الناس شيئا ولكن الناس أنفسهم يظلمون.
Truly, Allah wrongs not mankind in aught, but mankind wrong themselves.
ويوم يحشرهم كأن لم يلبثوا إلا ساعة من النهار يتعارفون بينهم قد خسر الذين كذبوا بلقاء الله وما كانوا مهتدين.
And on the day when he shall gather and resurrect them all together, it will be as if they had not stayed in the life of this world, but an hour of a day. They will recognize one another. Ruined indeed will be those who denied the meeting with Allah and were not guided.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
حياكم الله. معنا الشيخ دكتور إبراهيم المحيميد. Guest speaker arrived already, inshallah, Dr. Ibrahim al-Muhammad. Just waiting for him to. شيخ إبراهيم المايك والكاميرا لو تكرمت اضغط عليها حتى تفتح، تجدها أسفل الشاشة.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
نعم عليكم السلام.
Yeah, sorry about earlier. I was a bit tied up. Sorry about that.
No problem. I'm just following with the Sheikh now. Yes, Hassan.
Okay, shall we carry on with the recitation or you want to wait?
He's there, but I just want him to put on the camera and the mic.
Oh, yeah, I see him. Yeah, I see him. Okay.
شيخ إبراهيم اضغط على الكاميرا والمايك أسفل. Let me go out and call him, inshallah.
Okay, Akio. While we're waiting for him, I'll just we'll talk about the programs that we're doing for Islam for Deaf, which we've been doing for the since the beginning of Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, the Quran and the lecture, half an hour of Quran, half an hour of a lecture with the inheritors of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Mashaykh. with help from our Sheikh Muhammad al-Maliki, our translator Akil, our interpreters Tom and Sheikh Badr from Kuwait. Jazakallah khairan. May Allah reward you, may Allah accept it from us, inshallah. Also, I'd like to quickly highlight the appeals that we're doing during Ramadan for the deaf. It's just supporting the dawah for the deaf and also providing iftar as well as Islamic education for the deaf community in India, in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, and in Africa, alhamdulillah. Also, we've just started an emergency appeal because we have the links and the people there in those countries. They're also helping provide oxygen and also fruits and food for the poor people there, inshallah. So if you want to support that, visit oneCommunity.org.com or the website islamfordeaf.co.uk, and you can read the information there as well, inshallah. But as I said, we're here, we're doing a dawah, inshallah. May Allah accept it from us and also may it benefit the deaf community. We're about linking the deaf community with the Mashaykh, introducing the Shaykh to the deaf community and the deaf community to the Mashaykh, so they can learn and understand their religion, inshallah. Jazakallah. Hopefully the Shaykh will be with us now, inshallah. Seems like he's still having a bit of trouble. But what we can do, Akil, if you stay here, if you can speak to Ahmed, we can even just get a few recite a few ayats until the Sheikh comes in, inshallah. So we can still benefit while we're waiting.
You know what? I'm just trying to have a look for the Sheikh's.
I see him here. He's as guest speaker. I gotta wait for him to get himself together. But as I said, during the time being, it's better that we can benefit from the Qur'an while we're waiting as well.
Yeah, of course. Is Sheikh Ahmed still here?
Yes, he is.
Yes, I'm here.
شيخ أحمد ممكن تقرأ آية أو آيتين حتى يبدأ الشيخ؟
نكمل
الله.
وإما نرينك بعض الذي نعدهم أو نتوفينك فإلينا مرجعهم ثم الله شهيد على ما يفعلون.
Whether we show you in your lifetime, O Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, some of what we promise them, the torment, or we cause you to die, still to us is their return, and moreover Allah is witness over what they used to do.
ولكل أمة رسول فإذا جاء رسولهم قضي بينهم بالقسط وهم لا يظلمون.
And for every nation there is a messenger. When their messenger comes, the matter will be judged between them with justice, and they will not be wronged.
ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين.
And they say, when will be this promise of torment if you speak the truth?
قل لا أملك لنفسي ضرا ولا نفعا إلا ما شاء الله لكل أمة أجل إذا جاء أجلهم فلا يستأخرون ساعة ولا يستقدمون.
Say, O Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. I have no power over any harm or profit to myself except what Allah may will. For every nation there is a term appointed, and when their term comes, neither can they delay it, nor can they advance it an hour or a moment.
قل
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
الشيخ موجود. شيخ إبراهيم نحتاج تفتح الكاميرا.
نعم.
أيوة ممتاز. تفضل شيخ إبراهيم.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم
السلام ورحمة الله
السلام.
وبركاته. مغفرة شيخنا.
الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أفضل المرسلين، وبعد، فهذا لي اللقاء الثاني مع إخواني في بريطانيا من ذوي الحاجات الخاصة، وأسأل الله تعالى العظيم رب العرش الكريم بأسماء الحسنى وصفاته العلى أن يبارك لنا وإياكم في هذه الدقائق، وأن يرزقنا وإياكم الصدق والإخلاص وتقوى الله عز وجل. وما ما هو موضوع الكلمة شيخنا شيخ محمد؟
موضوع الكلمة دلالات قوله تعالى كتب عليكم الصيام.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا.
نعم.
كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من
من قبل. نعم.
اقرأ علينا، واحد يقرأ علينا بترتيل الآية.
شيخ أحمد موجود؟ أحمد خرج قارئ.
أي واحد يقرأ علينا.
عقيل تقرأ؟
أي نعم إن شاء الله.
يلا بسم الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون.
حسبك، جزاك الله تعالى خيرا. هذه الآية نقف معها عدة وقفات وعدة دلالات عظيمة. أولها وأهم هذه الدلالات هي معرفة الإيمان.
In the name of Allah.
نعم تفضل. نعم تفضل.
حفظكم الله شيخنا وبارك فيكم. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. Indeed, all praises are due to Allah. May Allah send and shower peace and blessings and salutations upon the Prophet Muhammad, upon his family and companions. Tonight is the second lecture that you have with me, and I ask Allah the Most High, the Lord of the Majestic Throne, to give us barakah, to give us much good within the time that we have together tonight, and to make us from those who are truthful and those who are sincere in their religion. So after a bit of clarification, the subject of tonight's lecture will be points of benefit derived from the verse, O you who have believed, fasting has been prescribed upon you as it was prescribed upon those who came before you, so that you may attain fear of Allah or consciousness of Allah. So the Shaykh said, may Allah preserve him, that as relates to this verse of the Quran, there are a number of points that we need to stop at and underline and pay attention to. The first of these points, and the most important, is this concept of faith and what this concept of faith means. نعم شيخنا.
والسبب في التطرق للإيمان وماهية الإيمان أن كثير من العوام ومن الناس يقع في مخالفة عظيمة في مفهوم الإيمان، فيقصر في الواجبات، فإذا قلت له اتق الله قال لك الإيمان ها هنا ويشير إلى صدره. يرتكب المعصية ويشرب الخمر، فإذا قلت له اتق الله قال لك الإيمان ها هنا ويشير إلى قلبه. يتأخر عن الصلوات، وإذا قلت له اتق الله حافظ على الصلاة قال الإيمان ها هنا. وسوف نبين بأدلة شرعية صحيحة خطأ هذه المقولة، وأن هذه المقولة وأن الإيمان يقوم على 5 أركان. من جاء بهذه ال5 الأركان فقد جاء بالإيمان وأتم به، ومن نقص منها نقص من إيمانه على قدر ذلك. نعم.
بارك الله فيكم شيخنا. So the reason that this subject and this topic of faith is so important is because many people err as relates to its understanding. If you were to rectify them and to give them advice, they would say, rather, faith is here, and they would point to their chests. So if there is an individual who is drinking alcohol, for example, and we were to say to them, fear Allah, stop doing what you are doing, they would say, faith is here. So it doesn't matter what I'm doing, but my faith is in my heart. Similarly, if there's an individual who doesn't give due importance or attention to the prayer, and if an individual were to say to them, fear Allah, you must pray, then they will say and they will respond, indeed, faith is here, and they will point to their hearts. So we will explain and we will make manifest the error of this statement in this context, and we'll also explain that faith, iman, it consists of 5 things. Whosoever completes these 5 things has completed faith, and whosoever is deficient in any aspect of these 5 things, then their faith is deficient in as much as they are deficient in completing it. Naam, Shaykhana.
طيب فالإيمان وحقيقة الإيمان عند أهل السنة والجماعة يقوم على 5 أركان. الأمر الأول نطق باللسان، والثاني اعتقاد بالقلب، والثالث عمل القلب، والرابع عمل الجوارح، والخامس ترك المعاصي. هذه 5 أركان أعيدها: نطق باللسان، هذا ركن من أركان الإيمان، واعتقاد بالقلب، هذا الركن الثاني، وعمل القلب، وهذا ركن ثالث، وعمل الجوارح، وهذا ركن الرابع، وترك المعاصي، وهذا ركن خامس. وكل 5 الأمور الأركان ال5 المذكورة عليها دلائل من الكتاب والسنة سوف نذكرها.
And faith, it stands upon 5 pillars in the view and in the opinion of the people of the Sunnah, the people of the example who follow the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and are united upon that. So they have this view that it's 5. It's 5 pillars. The first of these is the testification with the tongue, the testification of the tongue. The second is belief in the heart. The third is actions of the heart. The fourth is actions of the limbs. And the fifth is leaving or abandoning sinning. So I'll repeat them as our Shaykh did. The first is the testification of the tongue. The second, the belief of the heart. The third, the actions of the heart. The fourth, actions of the limbs. And the fifth is the abstinence from sinning, or those things that disobey Allah. And each of these have their evidences that are contained within the book and the Sunnah, the example, and we'll explain these now. نعم شيخنا.
فالأول النطق باللسان دليله قول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: الإيمان 60 شعبة، وفي رواية 70 شعبة، أعلاها قول لا إله إلا الله. فهذا دليل. ومن الأدلة على أن الإيمان لا بد من نطق اللسان هو قول الله تعالى: قولوا آمنا بالله. فهذا دليل الركن الأول، لا بد من القول. نعم.
So the evidence from the book and the Sunnah that the testification with the tongue is from faith is the statement of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, that faith is an odd number, and either 60 or 70 branches. And the greatest of these branches is the statement, there is no deity worthy of worship except for Allah. And this is the evidence, this is the point of evidence here. And also the statement of Allah the Most High, say, ordering the people, say, I have believed in Allah. نعم شيخنا.
الركن الثاني اعتقاد القلب، ومنها قول الله تعالى: آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله. هذا دليل أنه لا بد من الاعتقاد في القلب. كذلك قال ابن عباس كل أمر بالإيمان هو أمر بالاعتقاد. قولوا آمنا بالله أي قولوا بألسنتكم واعتقدوا بقلوبكم، الإيمان بالله. فهذا الركن الثاني من أركان الإيمان، لا بد بعد القول من اعتقاد القلب. نعم.
The second of these pillars is belief with the heart. And Allah the Most High says, the messenger, indeed, the messenger, Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, has believed in that which was revealed unto him, and also from his Lord, and also the angels, and the believers have also believed in that which has been revealed. And also belief in the heart, as relates to it, Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, he said that every order in the Qur'an, or every order to have faith, what it means is to have belief with the heart.
نعم.
نعم شيخنا.
طيب، الثالث عمل القلب. فعمل القلب ركن من أركان الإيمان. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الإيمان بضع 70 شعبة أو 6 شعبة، أعلاه قول لا إله إلا الله، وأدناه إماطة الأذى عن الطريق، والحياء شعبة من الإيمان. فتضمن هذا الحديث الإيمان قول، والإيمان عمل وهو إماطة الأذى عن الطريق، والإيمان عمل قلب وهو فالحياء والخوف والتوكل، هذه كلها أعمال قلبية. فتضمن هذا الحديث 3 أركان من أركان الإيمان. نعم.
And the evidence, the third pillar, is the actions of the heart. And the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, indeed, faith is an odd number, and either 60 or 70. There are different narrations, branches. The highest of these branches is the statement, there is no deity worthy of worship in truth except for Allah. And the lowest of these branches is removing the harmful obstacle from the walkway. And having bashfulness is a branch of faith. So this is the last part. Having bashfulness is a part of faith, or a branch of faith. This shows that the actions of the heart are included within this, within the category of having faith. And likewise, other actions of the heart, such as having reliance upon Allah, having fear of Allah, etc., these are all actions of the heart. And in actual fact, this narration that we have mentioned, it shows and it points to the fact that 3 of these things are pillars of faith, namely the testification, the actions of the limbs, which is indicated by the statement of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, that to remove the harmful obstacle from the walkway is a branch, is the lowest branch of faith. And finally, the fact that the actions of the heart are a part of faith. نعم شيخنا.
وقد جمع الله تعالى 4 الأركان في آية واحدة. فقال الله تعالى إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم. هذا الخوف من الله، والخوف عمل القلب. وإذا تليت عليهم آياته زادتهم إيمانا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. التوكل عمل القلب. الذين يقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون، هذا عمل الجوارح. ثم ماذا قال الله تعالى؟ قال أولئك هم المؤمنون حقا. فدل على أن من لم يأتي بالنطق ويعتقد ويعمل بالقلب ويعمل بالجوارح فهو ليس من المؤمنين حقا. قال أولئك هم المؤمنون حقا، يعني من هم؟ الذين عمل الإيمان من القلب، الذين يقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون، هذه أعمال الجوارح. نعم.
And Allah the Most High, He has mentioned the 4 of these branches, or 4 of these elements of faith in one verse, where He says that which means indeed the believers are but those, or the believers are only those who, when Allah is mentioned, their hearts quiver. And this is the first, this indicates their the actions of the heart. And when the شيخنا الآية إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم هذه الآية؟
اي نعم، وجلت اذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم اذا تليت عليهم اياته وزادتهم ايمان وعلى ربهم يتوكلون الذين يقيمون الصلاه ويؤتون الزكاه ومما رزقناهم ينفقون. الذين يقيمون الصلاه ومما رزقناهم ينفقون. نعم.
أي حفظكم الله شيخنا. Yes. So this part where their hearts quiver, it shows that their hearts, that the actions of the hearts are a part of faith. And when Allah's verses are revealed unto them, they are increased in faith, and upon their Lord they place their reliance. So here again, the reliance that they place upon their Lord, this is an indication that the actions of the heart enter this meaning or this general concept of faith. So here we have the actions of the heart having been mentioned twice. And then Allah, the Most High, goes on to say, those who perform the prayer. And here, this indication, those who perform the prayer, it shows that the actions, the physical actions, are from the actions of faith. شيخنا الآية والذين أقاموا الصلاة
آية الأنفال الذين إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم وإذا تلت عليهم آياته زادته إيمانا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. فالخوف والتوكل من أعمال القلب. الذين يقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون. ثم قال الله تعالى أولئك، يعني الذين يجمعون بين عمل البدن والقلب، أولئك هم المؤمنون حقا. نعم، سورة الأنفال.
بارك الله فيكم شيخنا، معذرة للتشويش. And then Allah says, those who establish the prayer and from that which we have provided them, they give. And these again are actions. And then Allah goes on to say, indeed, these people who do all of these things, these are those who are successful. So this shows that the people who encompass and do all of these things, these actions of iman, these actions of faith, they are those who are successful. نعم شيخنا.
فهذه الآية جمعت بينها. بقي الركن الخامس وهي ترك المعاصي من الإيمان. قول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يزني الزاني حين يزني وهو مؤمن، ولا يشرب الخمر حين يشربها وهو مؤمن. فدل على أن ترك المعاصي من الإيمان. فإذا عرفت هذا يا مسلم، عرفت مقولة خطأ الإنسان يرتكب المعاصي ويترك الواجبات ويقول الإيمان ها هنا. نعم.
The next necessity of faith is to leave off those things that are disobedience to Allah. And this is due to the statement of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, that indeed the fornicator does not fornicate in a state in which they are a believer. And the individual does not drink alcohol or consume alcohol in a state that they are a believer. So the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, negated faith for both of these individuals. And when you realize this and you appreciate it, you can appreciate the incorrectness of the statements of those people that we alluded to at the beginning of this talk, whereby if you were to correct them or give them advice, they will say that indeed my faith is here, and they would point to their hearts. نعم شيخنا.
المسألة الأخيرة وهي التي نختم بها هذه الكلمة أن الصيام كان موجودا في الأمم السابقة. وهنا نختم بفائدة. شرائع الأنبياء تقوم على 3 أقسام. القسم الأول توحيد الله عز وجل، العقيدة، والتوحيد والعقيدة واحدة عند الأنبياء ما تختلف، كلهم جاءوا من أجل توحيد الله عز وجل. الأمر الثاني من الشرائع التي جاءت به وهي العبادات الرئيسية. كذلك العبادات الرئيسية يشترك فيها كل الأنبياء، قد يختلفون في بعض يعني صور العبادات أو يعني شروطها أو كذا أو أوقاتها، هذا أمر آخر. فكلهم جاءوا بالصلاة، كلهم جاءوا بالصيام، الحج مفروض عليهم، الزكاة والصدقات كانت مفروض عليهم. القسم الثالث مما جاء بالأنبياء قضية التحليل والتحريم. فغالب المحرمات الرئيسية متفق عليها عند الأنبياء، لكن قد تختلف من نبي لنبي لظروف معينة أو لحاجات معينة، أو الله تعالى يحرم على بعض الأمم من باب العقوبة بعض الأشياء. فهذه الثلاثة الأمور التي يشترك فيها الأنبياء. نعم.
بارك الله فيكم شيخنا. ما شاء الله. And then we will leave, or we'll end tonight's sitting with a point of benefit around the legislation and the ways of worshipping of the previous nations. And we can see in the verse that fasting was prescribed upon the previous nations. And when we look to the legislations, the respective legislations of the prophets who came before and the nations who came before, we see that there are three principles as relates to them. The first of these principles is the oneness of Allah and the belief that they propagated. And this is what we would say in Arabic, at-tawheed, or monotheism. All of the prophets, they came with this same faith. So they all believed in exactly the same way. The second principle of the legislations of the prophets who came before is that the main types of worship that they were sent with were the same, that the legislated acts of worship were the same, but there may have been slight subtle differences how they actually carried them out. So things like the prayer, things like fasting, things like pilgrimage, things like giving in charity, these were all in essence agreed upon, although the actual ways and the actual details in doing them, they may have had subtleties and differences between them. And the final matter of these principles is the matter of the halal and the haram, the permissible and the impermissible. And on the whole, the impermissible and the permissible, they were generally the same amongst, and they were shared amongst the previous nations. However, there might have been differences where Allah made something permissible or impermissible upon a specific people due to a benefit for those people, or due to a punishment for those people, where he made something impermissible for them as a punishment for their previous behavior.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
جزاكم الله تعالى خيرا. وما
حياكم.
شيخنا الشيخ محمد مهددنا يقول لا تزيدون عن الساعة 12.
لا بس إذا تأذن ربما يكون هناك سؤال أو سؤالان للإخوة.
طيب.
عبد الحكيم, do you have any questions?
No, really. Jazakallah khairan. I think we're good.
يقولون ما جاءت أسئلة من المستمعين.
طيب الحمد لله.
شكر الله لكم شيخنا الشيخ الدكتور إبراهيم بن صالح الحميد على هذه المحاضرة القيمة والنافعة، نفع الله بها وجعلها في موازين حسناتكم. وشكر الله للإخوة المترجمين، الأخ عقيل، الأخ بدر وتوم، وشكر الله للأخ عبد الحكيم ويلسون الذي أنشأ الجمعية وأنشأ هذا المشروع الجيد. الله يجزاه خير. آمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله
وبركاته. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاكم الله خير شيخ محمد والشيخ إبراهيم، حفظكم الله.
آمين وإياكم.
محاضرة ماتعة جدا.
جزاكم الله خير.
حفظكم الله. So with that we conclude tonight's lecture, and it sounds like Abdul Hakim is somewhere a bit busy. So I'll conclude if that's okay, Abdul Hakim. There's a lot of interference coming from you. So we say, may Allah reward you, Abdul Hakim, Sheikh Badr, Sheikh Muhammad, may Allah reward you and thank you for your participation, Sheikh Badr, and Tom, thank you very much for your participation and in this collective effort that makes something quite special. And we hope by Allah that we'll see you tomorrow, and may Allah send you a shower of peace and salutations upon the Prophet Muhammad, upon his family and companions. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.